All right, let's get going. Good morning. Happy Friday. I am starting a little earlier than I had anticipated, but also a little later than normally scheduled, both for the same reason. I was watching a soccer friendly, the U.S. men's national team in their World Cup tune-up, I guess. It didn't go well, so I'm going to try to put that out of my mind. But that's why we're starting the stream a little bit later than usual. I wanted to see that game before we got started, and the game ended a little earlier than I had anticipated, and so I scheduled to start in 3 minutes from now, but let's just start now because I am ready to go. So I have in front of me this pile of pieces, and while I was watching the game on my computer screen, I just laid these things out in a nice arrangement. Maybe we'll leave them like this as we put them together. We'll see. I'd rather do that, I think, than push them all out of the way. So this is all of the parts that we've been working on for the last several weeks, doing painting and panel lining. They are not top coated yet. I'm going to do the top coating after assembly this time. And that's because I want to assemble and put the water slides on the assembled subsections, because it'll make it easier for me to figure out where to place water slides, since I don't have a specific plan about that just yet. So that is the plan for today, is to go ahead and assemble these things, and then we'll probably get started on some water slides if I have time. I believe that I will have time, so that is the plan. Let me get my instructions ready. Yeah, because it has been a while since I originally assembled this kit, so I want to make sure that I don't leave any parts out. It's terrible to have to disassemble painted parts. I'm always afraid I'm going to chip the paint, so I want to make sure that I don't make any mistakes with the assembly. All right, so let's start with these. and hopefully the fit will remain good. Usually the paint does not cause fitting issues, so we'll see how that goes as we go here. Yeah, that's already starting to look pretty excellent. I'm pleased. All right, and then we need this big blue part. Now in the instructions, there are some spots where it's showing that it wants you to put stickers on. They have some marking stickers to do some color correction, like to add some color inside of here where I've painted the red, for example. I'm going to be ignoring all of those stickers, obviously. Because the paint supersedes the need for all of them. So this is the crazy chest section that protrudes off of the front of the kit when it has all of its outer armor on. And actually these vents here, there are two optional, you get to choose between having these vent looking parts, and then there's another part that's just a solid kind of cover. I had already chosen to do the vents there, which is why I have those ready to go, and I didn't even paint the other option. Grab myself a toothpick because there are a couple of spots where this might need some cleanup as we assemble here. All right, what's next? Set that off to the side. Looks like these little sort of hinged areas that go on the sides of that and attach it onto the main mobile suit. So let's get this oriented the correct direction. And that can go either way. Yeah, so that's a pretty tight fit there. We need the other one of these. And this should fold down just like this. Yeah, that is a fairly tight joint here, this top pivot point. It'll loosen up a little bit as I use it, but also I don't mind joints like that being pretty tight after painting, because I'm going to tend to just pose this kit one time, probably on an action base with all of the missile effects and everything, and then just leave it that way. So did I put that on backwards? I did not. It just goes this way. All right, so now with these two, I believe that we just attach them onto here. Let's make sure we do it the correct way. that's looking good. And then the instructions show how to attach this. These sit on the tops of the shoulders of the Odysseus Gundam to attach it on, but we're not going to do that right now, obviously. We're just going to save that part and move on to the next bit. So we'll come back to that in a little while and put some water slides on it. So that goes in there. This sandwich is on like so. What's next? These very large tail parts. So that goes on there. We need the red insert. It sits in here and shows through on both sides. But yeah, that looks nice like that. And what else? Nothing else before we have to sandwich this together. All right. So one thing I normally notice while I'm doing this assembly, and a good reason to avoid doing the top coating before assembly, is it allows me to look closely at all these parts. And I missed cleaning up one of the panel line areas just a little bit. So I'm gonna go grab the enamel thinner over there. I'll be right back. And we will clean that up real quick before continuing. Right up there on top of that bit right there. Perfect. Actually, let me grab a paper towel. That way I have a place to put that. In case we need it again. Hopefully we will not. Yeah, otherwise it's looking good everywhere, so we'll go ahead and mash this together. I think I remember this from when I assembled this thing the first time. This end down here does not want to stay together. However, once you get the red piece on here that snaps on, it kind of fixes that problem. So I'm not too concerned about that just yet. And that part is probably the next step. Yeah, it is. So it is this one here. And it just pinches together right here. Yep, and it does help to hold that together there, so that's nice. Make sure it's flush up here on this end as well. Alright, so that's looking good. I was going to hand paint something in these little triangular indentation areas right there, and I forgot to do that. I may still go back and do that later. We'll see. Alright, so we'll set this to the side for the moment. And move on to these two parts. Which it looks like these don't actually have anything at all that goes in between them. They just, other than that one connection point there that I just put in, these just sandwich together like so. Oh, look at that. There's another spot. The spots I miss when I'm cleaning up panel lines are usually like around the edges of parts, because I'm looking at the big flat surface and I don't always turn it around to see the small edges. I thought that was a blemish, but it was just some sort of cloth debris or a little hair or something. Okay, and we do have a little bit of a problem right there, but I think that's actually in the paint, not a panel line problem. Yeah, it's just a little problem with the paint. It's mostly not visible, so I'm not too concerned about it. All right, so that one is done. What else? Well, it's sort of done. It actually goes in between these other two things, so I have to finish these first. And these do not have anything that sandwiches in between them, so they just go together like so. Simple construction. If you wanted to remove all of these seam lines that run down the middle of all of these bits, that would be quite a lot of work. I'm glad I chose not to worry about that on this build. It would have been tricky for sure. All right, the other side goes here. It's looking good. This little vent area goes in here. Yep, and then we do the other side the same way. Good. Turn the page. All right, so now we can put all this together. But we do need this part here. And it goes a very specific way, like that. All right, so that looks good, and then this goes on here. Yeah, I like how that's looking. And we have nothing else to put in between. Oh yeah, of course we do. We have this big tail bit, which slides on this area here. And then we have nothing else to put in between these guys, so I can sandwich this together. A little concerned because in the original build, this part was a bit loose and this tail part wanted to slide just a little too freely, at least for my liking. It was always wanting to slide out instead of staying up this way. So I'm hoping that adding the extra layers of paint that we did will help to solve that problem. Yeah, so far it feels a little bit loose, but not nearly. Like, I actually have to work at it to slide that down, so that's good. It might stay up a little bit better. Right, so this goes like so. And then this one goes on the other side here. It's getting a little bit big and unwieldy to hold on to while I'm working on it. Alright, so that slides in there. And then this piece goes down here. Yeah, and that thing is still a little bit loose, so I may have to figure out a way to make that even a little bit tighter of a connection. Or I can just choose not to worry about it, because like I said, once I get it posed, assuming that it's not wanting to slide out of position in the pose, then I won't be handling the kit anymore, and so it won't be an issue. All right, and then these guys fit onto the sides, I believe, just like so, right? Yeah, let's drop them a few times first. That's good. It's a nice tight fit. Cool. All right. And these two bits here, they do fit a specific way, so I want to make sure that I do this correctly. This goes on this side, the other one goes on the other side. All right. I was concerned about this part because I felt like I should have used it already, but it's still coming up, so that's good. We'll set this to the side for a moment while we do this chicken head part. And I did change this a little bit, right? Because it has this custom designed 3D printed part that I added here to replace a couple of parts that were fit in this area before. So we have this kind of a look. And the fit there is pretty good. It's actually separating those two parts just a tiny bit in one spot, but I'm okay with it. I could actually put a tiny bit of glue in there and then just clamp it. The reason for the fit is not Bandai's problem, right? It's my custom part, which is not quite as precise. That's what their parts always are, but this is good enough. I'm happy with it. Cool. All right, and then this used to be a clear part, but I painted it because I did not want it to be clear. But this top part here is still a clear part. I made it this kind of lime green clear. That was kind of a last minute decision when I was painting the other day, and I like it. I like how it turned out. So that is good as well. And then we've got this part here. Which becomes kind of the crest at the top of the head, like so. Right, and then, oh, and we need these two fins as well. To finish it out. Yeah, so the way this works in the final assembly is that this fits on top of these two bits here so that it can hinge over the top of the Gundam's head. For now, I'm going to leave that separate because it'll be easier to spray the final top coat with that as a separate part. This area here is huge. That's going to be interesting to top coat all as one big section. I will do my best to manage that, and then this part just slides down here to add some stability along the back of the Gundam as you attach it. Alright, so there we are. With those three parts assembled. Yeah, looks pretty nice. I like it. And let me take a look at decals next, right? So this combo big box kit that came with the Penelope and the C together and all of the weapon effects parts did come with a sheet of water slides as well. I don't believe the original Penelope comes with these, or the Penelope by itself. And so we do have some instructions as to where they want us to place these. However, because of the detailing that I've added, at least my experience with the other sections of the kit I've done so far has been that I've had to slightly modify the placement of some of these decals because they want to sit over one of my custom panel lines or something like that. So I've got this container of water, which I actually planned ahead. I hadn't ever done water slides out here in this new studio space until today. And I realized at the last second that I don't have a way to get water out here, so I had to bring, I don't have like a sink or anything like that, right? So I brought water with me. I grabbed this just for cutting decals. This mat is not really like a good self-healing style of a cutting mat. I like it as a work surface, but it's not great if you accidentally cut it. So I've got a smaller mat that I use when I'm, especially when I'm cutting decals, but when I'm doing other work with a hobby knife that I think I might cut through to the mat. Do that, and then what else do I need here? This little paintbrush, just in case I need to spread some water around. Mark softer, mark setter, just in case. And a pen to cross off things from the instructions over here as I use them up. Let's just take a quick look, because what I don't want to do is use up too many of the decals in too many different places than where they're designed to go, and then run out when we get more toward the end of the build. So yeah, just being careful about that. Yeah, so actually we're gonna start here. With the chicken head. because most of those look like they don't conflict with anything I've done. And so we'll just do these as marked. I'm not going to make any big changes there. So I need a 110 and a 111. It'll take me a minute to reacquaint myself with the decal sheet because it's been a while since I've looked at it. I think what I decided last time I was working on this is that the Penelope decals seem to be kind of the bottom half of the sheet. I assume the top half will be for the other Gundam. So what I like to do is use these tweezers, which just clamp when you're not, like when you let go of them. You squeeze them to unclamp them, right? So I can grab the sheet like this and then use that to dip in the water. One of these days I should get one of those like wet sponge style decal helper things, because then you can prep a whole lot of the decals all at once, and then that probably saves time. Get that brush wet just in case we need it. Also, if I had one of those little desk clamp type devices, I think that would be helpful as well to hold the parts in place while I do this, but this will work just fine for now. You know, the other thing I need is cotton swabs, which I have a bunch of right there in the drawer, so that works out. That thing shifted just a tiny bit from where I wanted it when I hit it with the cotton swab. That is much better. Okay. We'll grab the other side real quick. All right, and don't forget to cross these off so that I remember I took care of them already. Yeah, those I'm okay with as well, so we'll just continue following the instructions. If I can find them. 98, it said 98, or 89 and 90. Okay, that makes more sense. Take care of 89 first. You know what? We should, like, there. We'll move that back into view. So that it's at least it's visible while we work on these other parts. I keep wanting to use that. Let's move that out of the way so I don't use it by accident when I mean to use the other one. I'm going to go ahead and get this one wet while we wait for that other one to be ready to go. It's not exactly perfect, so let's just fix it up a touch. Even just a tiny bit more down here. There we go. Yep, that looks good. All right, let's see. Are there any more that I want to do here on this part before I move on to something else? And I think the answer is no. Yeah. However, there is marking that goes, let's see, I saw it earlier. This one here, I think it is. Yeah, so 112, which I wanted to take a look at because I believe, oh, it's that. That's not what it looked like on the instructions. Interesting. Okay, cool. So they want that to go up here on a part that I painted dark gray. And it does not really fit either in here. It wouldn't fit well between the yellow and the dark gray across that little area there. It would be a little cramped vertically if I tried to put it in there. And so I believe that I would like to relocate that decal to over here instead. And I believe that I would like to put it somewhere along the top edge of this area right here. Probably just right there. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna put that right there, and then I'll look ahead while I wait for that one to be ready to go. I think next we'll do this tail part, which, again, they're wanting me to place things on things that I've painted darker colors, but that's fine, because like this one can just move down into here. This one's fine. Yeah, so we're gonna need two 122s and two 123s. I'll go ahead and cut those out. That way they're ready to go shortly here, but let's go ahead and place this one first. And actually get these wet so they can be preparing themselves. All right. So the plan here is just to center this one as best I can right under this little ridge area. Which, because I didn't sand this part perfectly evenly, that ridge is actually not horizontal. It's not perfectly horizontal, it's very close. There. That's perfect. All right. So next, we're gonna go here. And it looks like we've got, like, they want one up here, but I'm gonna put it just in this little area right here. And then I'm going to put the other one, seems crowded out there. I may actually drop it right in here. There's a good chance actually that I'll drop it right in there, or I could put it down here along this edge. Either one seems fine. Actually down there I like better, so that's what I'm gonna do. So we'll drop one there and then one down here. Yeah. That's my final decision. Lock it in, right? Trying to release this one just a touch so that I can push, just nudge it a bit this way so that it will be slightly more parallel with that bottom edge of the wing, or the tail, whatever this thing is. I don't know what's a wing anymore and what's just some other pointy bit. There we go. That's very nice. Okay. Let's flip it over and do the other side before I forget what I did. So one there, one there. I got just a little further away from this corner than I would like it to be. That's better. So this is something I'm finding interesting, this being the first time I've done water slides on camera. I feel like I have a tendency to want to work like way up here close to myself, and I should make a conscious effort to try to work out here in a spot that's actually under the camera. So I will try to keep that in mind as we go forward here. Yeah, that was terrible. Yep, that looks like the other side. All right, very good. So we're done with these and these. I think next we will grab this very large Anaheim Electronics logo right here, which goes right along that edge there on both sides. All right, so this top one is the one that goes on the side we're looking at right now. All right, let that soften up for a little while, and I'll look ahead while we are waiting for that. So the 120, 121, I don't think that I'm thrilled with those and their placement. Yeah, almost certainly not. So I'll repurpose those for somewhere else. Yeah, and that's fine. These 123s look fine. Same with those. Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with both of those choices. And then these white bits here fit in there is just fine with me as well. So yeah, this all looks pretty straightforward. See if this has gotten soft enough to extract it from the paper. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna move this one around with a wet brush instead, because I don't want to tear it. So I guess that's the idea here, is to get it as close to this edge as possible, and it looks like it fills out the space pretty nicely. And then trying as best as I can to make it parallel with this top edge. That's pretty close. However, this tail end of it here is just ever so slightly bending down towards me. Yeah, again, I'm not working on camera. There, now it's straight. Nice. So what we discovered on the other side is that if I push this over here so that this red detail is right on that edge, that will get us very close to the right spot. How far down from the edge did I put the logo? Okay. That seems fine, actually. All right, that looks even. We'll keep it. So we've got those two out of the way. This one I decided I'm not going to put there. I will put it somewhere else eventually. Let's work with these other two kind of bigger ones here next. So the top one goes on the side we're looking at right now. And I think so they have them placed like up here, almost as far this way as they can go on this red part. Thinking about whether I want to center it down here instead. Nah, I think I like it up there. So we'll do as the instructions specify. Saw a blemish there, but luckily it was just a little extra drop of water, or maybe mark setter that had fallen there, so it was not a problem. I wonder if I raise my chair ever so slightly and move my microphone up this way, then I can lean more forward as I work, and maybe I will be positioned better over or under the camera here. So we're just going right along there with this one. I'm quite pleased overall with this red color. I wasn't sure when I originally was picking out colors if this was like, I wasn't sure I wanted as bright of a red as this. I thought maybe a darker red would be good, but this is the one I ended up choosing, and now that I see it in conjunction with the other colors, especially on these very large parts, I like it a lot. So I'm happy with that choice. And right there is where our other one goes. Let me remind myself how close I got to that edge. It's a little closer than this. So something like that. Yeah. Accidentally moved it with the Q-tip, but I actually made it better, so that's cool. Yeah, that looks good. Next, I guess 2 more 122s or 4 more, because 2 on each side of the 122s and 123s, which will use all of them up. And I think for all 4 of these, I decided I was okay with just following what the instructions say. Let me sort of verify that here as we wait for these. So the first one will be up here just above this tan area, like in the white right there. Which, actually, I would prefer it down here. Yeah, I'm gonna put it down here. And then the other one I'm gonna put all the way out here on the end of the tail, actually. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. So, and we're gonna swap the direction of one of them as well. So like use the one meant for the opposite side so that we get the mirror image, because I want the little detail, you probably can't see on camera because these are so small, but there's a little detail with a circle and I want it in that corner instead of on the other side. So I'm gonna grab this one and put it here. Like so, and then I'm gonna grab this one, put it out there. So we'll shift that one in there like that. That looks good. And then this one, just soak up some of that liquid, and then we can get it to be just right down here at the end of the tail. Like that. Nice. All right, remind myself what I did there so that I can do it again on the other side. So one of them goes right in there, and then the other one goes down there. And what I want is this one here. And then this one down here. That's not straight at all. But that is. Now, how far out toward the end did I place this? Yeah, so it needs to slide pretty far that way. Actually seems quite good, and just down a touch. There we go. And I wrinkled it, but that's okay because we can fix that with water. Carefully. Yep. It's hard to roll the water out from under this particular one because of its location, because it's close to this edge right here. I can't really roll the Q-tip along it. And so instead I dragged the Q-tip, which is always a bad idea, because it will almost always either move or wrinkle your water slide underneath. Alright, so these two are done, these two are done. I have a spare 120 and 121 that I could place somewhere. And what do they look like? Actually, they are one of a kind. They're these two right here. And I don't have a strong preference for where I'd like them to go. Sadly, they don't look like they should be a vertical thing, because I wouldn't mind placing them vertically along that little tail section there. However, I don't think that they look like they would go there. So instead, I don't think that I'm going to use them here on this part. There's a tiny bit of kennel line fluid smeared a bit on that part, so let me clean that up. All right. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to use them here. Might use them down or up here, by these vents that I painted darker. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the paint that the enamel paint I used here inside of this vent is super glossy, and that it looks kind of bad that way, but it'll fix itself with flat coat later. I noticed that when I painted that same color on some of the other parts of the kit a long time ago, whenever I was working on that. Yeah, so I think maybe I would like to... I've changed my mind. I don't think that works there. And it would be too many decals too close together as well. So I'm gonna not put that on at least this section. I might use it somewhere else on the mobile suit itself later on. We've got a couple of things that go on here. Yeah, so we'll do 108, 109, which are white parts that go on this blue. I don't think I like where the instructions have you putting them, but I will put them somewhere on the blue for sure. Especially once I see they're a unique shape, and so I'll have to think a minute how they fit. So here they are, and I think the idea is to put them like up there, which isn't terrible. However, oh, I see. They want you to put them that way. They want you to put them that way. Actually, I like them that way quite a lot. All right, I have a plan. I really like how this bit that I'm holding in my hands right now turned out. All of the little details work really well together, at least I think they do. Came out better than I anticipated, I think. I briefly thought about changing the color of these two little front segments here to be like the off-white, the slightly grayish color. I think that would have been too much. So I'm glad I left them like that, especially because it looks like there's some sort of water slide that goes there to add a little bit of detail anyway. All right, so what I'm gonna do is swap the sides that these are supposed to go on. So I'm gonna pull this one down and put it here. Just get it parallel with that top line there. And that seems really good. Yeah, I like that a lot. We'll do the other side. We'll drop the part first. Yeah, that's always a good idea. I have to be a little bit more careful about making sure that these are as even as possible, because it's pretty easy to see both of them at the same time. Not that I wasn't trying to be symmetrical with all the other placements so far, but especially this one. All right, that looks good. Yep, that looks good. Am I getting better at working under the camera? I feel like I am, so that's cool. Alright, let's cross out wherever those were here. Yeah, and we'll work with those ones up toward the front here because I am interested in how those are going to fit into this extra panel line stuff I've done. Yeah, so those are 93 and 94, which I think were... Oh no, they aren't. I was going to say those were ones I've used elsewhere, but these are the only two with those numbers. So once we finish with these decals today, my plan is to let this sit because I want to make sure that all of the water comes out from under them before I do anything else. And I live in a humid place, so sometimes that takes a while. So I usually let these things sit for at least 24 hours just to make sure they've dried completely. And then once I've done that, I will sometime this weekend try to put the flat top coat over these entire sections. So obviously won't disassemble this again. I'll just paint. And some of these ones that have moving bits are going to be interesting to top coat because like I want to make sure I get this area here under the hinge as well. This I can just extend all the way out like that and paint it this way. That'll be fine. That is holding a little bit better than it was before paint, but it's still quite loose, that tail section. All right, instead of talking about that, I should have been figuring out where I want to place these guys. And I think the answer is going to be down here. Yeah, almost certainly. Yeah, that'll be perfect actually. So they're gonna fit right here in this little area that I meant or thought about painting and then decided not to paint. And that's actually perfect. I'm going to use this one on this side. And just put it right here. It looks like it was designed to fit in that space just perfectly, actually. That's nice. Cool. Alright, weirdly, this one doesn't quite fit in this space in the same way, so I think actually I scribed this line a little bit shorter on this side than I did on the other side. Don't tell anyone. They won't notice. Pivot it up that way just a little bit. I can actually hide the fact that they're not quite the same by careful placement of this decal, I think. Yeah, that'll actually work fine. Nice. Yep, I like that. All right, and then I've got a 91, 92 called for somewhere further up along this white area. And I don't necessarily like where they've wanted to place it, but I have an idea. So let's look at them real quick. 91, 92. Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay. So what I want to do with these two is... Oh yeah, definitely put them just right in that little cutout. Okay, this will be fine. So this little area right here that's sort of recessed anyway, I'm gonna just put them right along that edge right there. And while we wait for that, I'm gonna check my phone real quick because somebody's trying to get in touch with me. And it was not anything super important. Alright, so the plan here is to use this one on this side. I think. Yeah. That will fit nicely. Right into this corner right here. You know what? Maybe I want to flip it. No one will notice that the text is upside down, right? It's too small. Maybe I want to put it up here. So many choices. No, I don't like that. I think I want it right here. But I'm not crazy about that hanging out in the middle of nowhere, so I will flip it back over the way it was supposed to go. And place this centered right along here. That is perfect. Okay, I like that a lot. Of course, I shifted it just a little bit with the cotton swab there. All right, let's fix it. That's better. Yeah, that looks good. And then we will do this one here. I'm gonna definitely, again, have to make sure that I get this centered in the same way that I did the other side, because it will be quite obvious if they're not perfectly aligned. So yeah, so this one needs to move down and this way just a little bit. And a little bit more. That's quite close. Let's just shift it up just the very tiniest bit. All right. Lock it in. Yep, I'm happy with that. Next. Is there a next, is the question, I guess. Because I may be nearly done. I'm going to take a look real quick at, so this 113, 114, which are meant to go on, I don't have it with me, but the kind of the crotch piece. I did not use there. And so I may want to use them on this blue part here. I didn't use them there on purpose because I didn't like how they were going to fit. However, I do like the idea of putting them along the edge here, or maybe under this vent, although that's a very hidden area. It won't really be seen at all. But I do kind of like putting them here under those like little camera areas. So let's grab one of each of those. I kind of have two options here. I could put them along the just above this panel line right here. Excuse me, above this panel line right here. So they'd be horizontal right here. But given that I already have this other horizontal detail just above it, I'm less inclined to do that. And I think I'm more inclined to put them this way, so as you're looking at it, it'll be vertical along the side here. Yeah, I believe that's the choice I'm going to make. So we'll drop this mark setter right along there. And then I have to decide which one. These are not as long as I thought they were. It's still fine to do them this way. In fact, I might move it closer to that corner. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna use this one. Come on, get on the piece. There we go. And I'm gonna spin it around this way and put it right here near this corner. Yeah, I'm happy with how that's gonna turn out. Okay, very good. We'll do the other side the same way. Of course. Take a quick look to make sure that it is symmetrical, and it is. Very good. All right, so the rest of these are definitely on the mobile suit inside. All of these are as well. That's the front of the leg. These are weapons and shields. Those are all on the mobile suit inside. There's his feet. I haven't actually painted the big red foot extension parts yet. They're over here in my parts bin. So we'll have to do that at some point. They are the last remaining parts of the, like, that aren't part of the Odysseus Gundam itself that I haven't been painted. All right, so I am happy with those choices, and I'm just gonna look at the sheet here just to make sure there's nothing else that I want to potentially use. These 99s, these Anaheim Electronics logos, where did they get used? Oh, they get used on the center of the little shield bits. There's two of them, one on each arm. I'm okay with that. I was actually thinking about using one of those like centered somewhere on the bird head or this chest area, but since there's two of them and they're for the two shields, I'm gonna leave them alone and let them be used for that. I believe that everything before 88 is actually used on the Kasi Gundam. Let's see if I can find an 88 up there somewhere. No. Oh, you know what? They're probably, I see. Yeah. They're used up here. All right, so everything before 74. Yeah, that makes sense. 73, 74, 72. 72 is, oh, right there. Yeah, so up to the 60, up to 71 is this Gundam, and everything past that is here. All right, that makes sense. So those I'm gonna use on the legs for sure. Those all seem fine. 102, 103, I don't know where they go. Let's see if I can find them real fast. They might be on the feet. That's my first guess. it is wrong. Yeah, so actually 102, 103 are not called out anywhere in the instructions that I can find. It's interesting, because they are interesting looking decals for sure. Actually 100, 101 are similar as well, and not used anywhere down here, unless they're up here on the other Gundam, but I don't think they are. Oh, they're here on the gun. Of course. That makes sense. Yeah. They totally look like a weapon magazine type of a marking. Okay. That makes sense. Alright. So having looked all that over, I have convinced myself that I'm done with the decals for these parts. So here's how they've turned out. We've got the bird head, chicken head, whatever we want to call it. With its new lime green eyepiece, so that's cool, I think. This was all entirely white, except for the red parts on the plume here. The rest of it was all just plain white, so the painting has definitely helped there. We've got this big part that protrudes out the front of the chest. I'm super happy with how this turned out. I really like all the details on it for sure. The underside, these two bits here were hollow. And so these are extra parts that I 3D printed to fill in those hollow bits as well. They're not super visible because it's on the underside, but if you did look up under there, you would have seen those. So I'm glad to have filled those in. And then here's the big tail section that goes off the back of the Gundam. And as I've said, I'm still a bit unhappy with how the looseness of this sliding joint right here. I would like it if it would want to stay up there tight, but it wants to just flop down by about, I don't know, a quarter inch or so. So that's a little bit frustrating. We'll see how it goes when I come to pose the final build. There's a little bit of a blemish right there. I can clean that off, I think. Yeah, looks good. So yeah, this is looking good. I may still go back and do a little bit of detail painting in these two very small triangular indentations on the sides of this. Maybe some light gray. Yeah, light gray seems likely there. Just to kind of mirror what I did up here. And that'll be good. Otherwise, I think we're done with those parts, and I'm happy with how they've turned out. Of course, they'll look a little bit different once the flat top coat goes on. I've been using I think it's a Moto brand top coat on this kit. It's called Super Flat, and it is extremely flat. It's like the flattest matte top coat I've ever seen. And I like it a lot. I'm actually gonna probably just use it on all my builds from now on, as long as I can keep finding it in stock at places where I buy paints from. So that will look, I think, really good on here once these get that top coat on them. So I will do that sometime over the weekend. I'll try to remember to post a photo of the completed bits like on my social media and stuff once I get that done. Yeah, I think they'll look good. All right, so that is it for today. It's lunchtime for me, and I've also almost gotten over the disappointment of the U.S. men's national soccer team losing. It was just a friendly, and Japan was quite good in that game. Like, their high press was great. But this is not a soccer stream, so I'm not going to talk about that now. I'm just going to sign off and tell you guys that I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next time.